3 men and a woman involved in the murder of a West Yorkshire car dealer have been sentenced to a total of 51 years in jail. A judge said the defendants Michael Sharp, Ryan Hill, Stacey Foster and Christopher Gill were motivated by greed. Leeds Crown Court heard David Ward, 38, died after a sustained attack at his home in Denby Dale Road, Wakefield. Michael Sharp, 25, was given a life sentence of 27 years for his murder. Ryan Hill, 29, along with Mr. Ward's ex-girlfriend Stacey Foster, aged 23, and Christopher Gill, 27, were also given jail sentences for their part. The court was told Sharp of Queen's Drive, Ossett, and Hill of Fernley Place, Nottingham, subjected Mr. Ward to a sustained attack during a robbery at his house in the early hours of the 23rd of January. He was found in the bathroom with his ankles and wrists tied with leather belts. The court heard the pair were given a key to Mr. Ward's home by ex-girlfriend Stacey Foster, also known as Stacey Greenwood. Sharp had begun a relationship with Foster after meeting her in a nightclub, although she continued to have an amicable and open relationship with Mr. Ward. David Ward died of head injuries at his Wakefield home. The jury was told she had told Sharp the former police officer kept £20,000 in a safe at his home along with cocaine and amphetamine. Sharp and Hill, armed with a hammer, screwdriver and knuckle duster, broke into Mr. Ward's home through a cellar window after they could not get the key to work. The court was told the victim was confronted at the top of the stairs by the pair, who then subjected him to a violent physical attack. He suffered facial injuries and died from compression to the neck. Sentencing Sharp, Mr. Justice Wilkie said, "You tied him up while he was still alive, and in order to persuade him to disclose the whereabouts of the safe key, you subjected him to such a degree of violence that he died." Hill was found guilty of manslaughter and conspiracy to rob and was ordered to serve a minimum of 8 years and 9 months in prison. Foster, of East Grange Road, Leeds, and Gill, of Fulwood Grove, Kettlethorpe, earlier pleaded guilty to conspiring to commit aggravated burglary. Foster was sentenced to 6 years and 8 months in jail and Gill 9 years. The judge described Foster as a loner who had had a very tragic life and had suffered at the hands of a string of violent partners. The judge said Mr. Ward had tragically and ironically been the one shining light in her life. He said that she, like the other 3 defendants, had been motivated by greed and expected to get a share from the robbery. He continued, if it were not for her association with David Ward, he would still be alive today. DET Superintendent Bill Shackleton, of West Yorkshire Police, said, despite attempts by some of the defendants to attack the character of Mr. Ward, there is nothing to suggest David Ward was anything other than a hard-working man who was very well known and popular in the Wakefield area. In a statement, Mr. Ward's family said, "We are still struggling to come to terms with losing David in such horrific circumstances. There is not a day goes by that we do not think of him and miss him. He was such a big part of all our lives."